What is up, guys? MattyXBuilds here. I figured it was about time to do a little overview of the truck, so here we go. I'm going to try to make a fast one, and then I'm going to make a longer overview video where like I go over everything in detail. So if there's anything that I cover in this one that y'all like want to know some more about, then y'all be sure to check out the long video or go back on the channel and watch the videos about each specific thing that we did. But basically, we got a 95 OBS. Started out as a step side. I switched it to a fleet side. We did the IHC 5.7 drop. I think it turned out more like 8 in the back, but that's just me. We're on 20-inch Riddlers. They're nice and dirty right now, but you get the idea. Up front. Ooh. Don't worry about this yet. We'll talk about that. Up front, got the Amazon special grill and headlights. Kind of clean it up. I had a decent bumper, and somewhere in the process of building it, somebody smacked this hoe, and I haven't cleaned it up yet, but it was nice. We got your run-of-the-mill 5.3 LS swap. This one come out of a 99. We didn't do anything in the bottom end, just did gaskets, front and rear main seal, oil pan gasket. We did the stage 3 BTR cam, 660 springs in the heads, you know, all that basic stuff. We had our boy Billy Dixon at DNS Cylinder Heads in OKC go through the heads for us. He cleaned them, gave them a hot bath, polished the valves, put our new springs in for us for the cam, did a valve job, all that. So they're basically brand new heads. Hooked us up real nice on that. With the IHC drop in these 20s, I'm shocked I did it with 20s. Most people have to deal with this with 22s, but any little minor bump and I'm hitting everything up here, so I took my inner fenders out. I was still hitting my ABS bracket, so like I modified that a whole bunch, but it was still hitting it. And I had a real squishy pedal just like everybody else with the OBS, so I went ahead and did the ABS delete. This is off of, I want to say, a 99 Blazer, but we just plumbed that in. We did the MBS master cylinder swap, so now the pedal's pretty nice. And I also had to relocate all this wiring, your fuse box and all that stuff. I relocated that up here for in the future when I do tubs. It's a 99 to 06 intake. They're supposed to be down here, but I didn't want it hitting the tire, so we got it up there for now until I do the tubs. And whenever I do that, then I'll have a little air box down here. We relocated our battery to the back, so we got a little bus bar up here for all our wiring, and then we've got our Nelson Racing relay kit for the fans. It's an NNBS fan shroud, fits pretty nice. This is the 34-inch radiator that goes on the diesel OBS's, but it fits in the half-ton core support, and then it also perfectly fits with the NNBS fan shroud. I built these little brackets to hold it all in, so they pinch the radiator in, and then they also give us a good bolt point for the fan shroud to sit in there. We used 99 to 06 upper and lower radiator hoses just like everybody else does. Nothing special there. We don't have AC yet, but we will in the future. And other than that, that's pretty much it for the engine bay. We have a built 4L60 built by Booker Transmissions in Enid, Oklahoma. The HD clutches, Corvette shift servo, billet triple disc converter, all that stuff. Precision Drive here in OKC did the drive shaft for me. It was the stock one that went to the V6. We just moved the transmission mount back a little bit, and we used Dirty Dingo motor mounts, so we scooted it all back. It fit the stock drive shaft, and I just had them balance it, put new U-joints, and I had to get a new yoke on one end. If y'all have watched the videos, y'all know why I needed a new yoke. But other than that, we got our Amazon special tail lights, the little C-bar lights. They look nice and clean, gave it a nice little touch. For exhaust, we have the Schoenfeld headers. They're 4 OBSs with LS swaps, so like they're built for this truck. And this swap, everybody complains about them. They say they don't clear on the driver's side of the firewall. They do. You just either got to beat the shit out of the heat shield or take it out and they fit. That's it. That's all there is to that. We welded up to those, did 2.5 inch true dual straight back to Flowmaster 40s, and they're dumped right here before the axle. I'll redo that in the future. It was all I had money for at the time. Hindsight, I would have done an X pipe for sure, and I would have went with some different mufflers, because the Flowmaster 40s, they're cool and all, but they got that old school kind of clappy sound and I don't really dig it. But anyways, that's about it for the truck. On the outside and the drivetrain, here's the battery, little XS D3400, the big battery they make. I gotta loosen this cover up. When I bolted it in, I kind of did it too tight and it like twisted it, and it makes it like not shut right. But yeah, I think that's about it for the outside. I switched the doors to electric doors. Mine was all manual. That way I had electric windows and locks. I got an aftermarket wiring harness for the electric windows off of Amazon. I think it was like 25 bucks. All you got to do is tap into your window wires on your window motor. Tap in for your up and down. And then it comes with its own harness that goes over to the passenger side. And then all you got to do is run a hot and a ground, and boom, you got electric windows. So that was a super cool, cheap upgrade. And who don't love electric windows, you know what I'm saying? So, and then the other big feature of this truck that everybody likes, everybody's here for, is the High Country interior swap with the dash. There's a lot of people that are doing the seats now, which I love it. It's an awesome seat, and you know, it's from the 14 to 18, so it's still a newer seat. They're not all clapped out and crusty yet. But at the time, we had built our own brackets, cut up the bottom of the seat rails nice and ugly. It worked. We're rookies at fabrication, but you know, it is what it is. If you're gonna do this, I suggest you get with Mr. Stark at Stark Fabworks. I'll put a link to his website in the description. He makes seat brackets for OBSs to have 14 to 18 seats. So basically, you buy his bracket, bolt the brackets down to your OBS floor in the stock holes, and then they bolt right up to 2014 to 2018 GM seats. So whether you get the Chevy seats or the GMC seats, they'll bolt right up. And then I'll be putting those in the future. He sent me a set, but I have to buy new seats since I permanently modified my rails. I got to buy a new set of seats with virgin rails on them so I can redo all that. I'll get cloth electric seats. That way I have, you know, the forward and backward adjustability and all that, and then I'll just take the cloth covers off and put the High Country leather covers on, and we'll be good to go there. Other than that, we got the dash in. Some small notes on that. All we had to do really was cut the inner plastic out on the side where the fuse box and all that's supposed to be. We notched out for the pillars. We notched a little extra out, but I'll be doing like tweeter pods fiberglassed into my A-pillars in the future. So when I do that, I'll make it match up to that line. We'll be good to go on both sides. And then all we had to do was trim the front plastic to match the curve of the glass. And that's about it. Mounted it all up, made it fit, measured 14 times to make sure it was even from side to side, and got it in there. I use an Amazon 10-inch fire tablet. It just kind of props up in here. Hindsight, I would have done a Holley wiring system, so I had the little Holley dash, but that's in the future. I will be doing that eventually, just not right now. I've got my ECU ran into the glove box. I don't use the glove box. I didn't want to leave it out in the engine bay, so put it in here, made it fit. Got a BAFX OBD2 Bluetooth, I don't know what you want to call it, interface, I guess is what they call it. But it just plugs into your OBD2 port, and then that allows you to connect to any Bluetooth, Android tablet, phone, screen, whatever you want to do. They also make a Wi-Fi version, and that's what you got to use if you want to use Apple products like an iPad or something like that for your screen, which is another option. Mine didn't come with a radio and HVAC controls and all that, but I'm just going to do a double din kit, and then put like a Pioneer double din in there. We'll eventually be doing a blow through, put two 15s back there, and then I'll be building my own door panels, so we'll put two 6.5s in there, some tweeters, probably some tweeters up here. And then on the door panels, it's going to be kind of a blend of the OBS door panel and the 14 to 18 style, because I got to get it to match this curve of the dash right here when it closes. So basically I'm going to use like the newer, like 2014 lower half, like from the armrest down, and the switch panels and all that. That way I can tap these switch wires into the switch wires of the, or the switches of the 14 to 18 door panel. And then like just this top half will be, I'll probably just fiberglass it or something like that to make it match and not look super tacky. And then I'll just use like an OBS frame, like the door panel frame, to get all the mounting points. That way it'll snap in like a normal door panel, but it'll look cool. So that's pretty much it. Also did the push to start. You can get those for like 60 bucks on Amazon. This is the basic one that literally just does push start. So you can do that one, or there's a nicer one if you have electric locks and windows. I haven't done my electric locks yet, but if you do that, you can use the other version that has like a legit key fob with a lock and unlock, a remote start, and then basically it has antennas, so as soon as you're inside the vehicle, you don't have to put a like mine, I have to put a little RFID chip to this to get it to start. But if you have that other one, it has antennas in the truck and it's just like a new vehicle. You can keep the fob in your pocket, push start, and you're good to go. So that's pretty much it. I did put the high country shift lever on the dill, but they're flipped the other way. Like the OBS ones are like a half moon and they're from the bottom, or these are a half moon on top, so I didn't have a way to screw it in. And so I tack welded it in there, but when I did that, it kind of melted the plastic bushings in here. So there's a lot of slop in the shifter. You know, hindsight, don't weld where there's plastic stuff, but we learned. So all I'm gonna do is replace that shifter assembly later on, and then get like some of those aftermarket billet shifters, just so it's something nice in here. And it won't be like an OBS shifter. Yeah, it won't match the dash, but it'll at least be something clean. And then I'll get some aftermarket steering wheel at some point, so we kind of have that new fresh look up front. We don't have any old crusty OBS stuff. But oh yeah, and I still gotta adjust the doors. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We've been messing with it for about 2 years now. The past year's been real slow. Kind of ran out of budget, and then just like everybody else, prices went up on everything, and it's been kind of tough to hang. So we put the truck on the back burner, but we'll be getting back to it here shortly. Things that'll be coming up for it is, like I mentioned, the door panel project. We'll be doing that soon this winter. And then I'm also going to get it over to Garrett at Trick Toys to redo the C-notch, because the IHC notch ain't deep enough and it still bottoms out. So I'm gonna have Garrett hook me up with a bigger notch and the vertical shock relocation to help it ride better in the back, and then he'll probably also be doing the tubs for me in the front to get the front buttoned up. But other than that, that's it. If y'all want a little bit more detail, I'm gonna upload a longer video where I kind of do my usual chit-chatting, blibber blabber, and go over everything in detail. And then if there's anything more than that you guys want to know about, just look back on the channel. We uploaded everything we did to this truck. We covered every part of it. Might not be a perfect how-to, but you should be able to figure out what we did. And don't be afraid to drop a comment, ask a question, let us know what you think. And other than that, peace out, be human. We'll freaking see you next time.